looking forward, looking back. I've come a long way down the track, got a long way left to go, making songs from what I know, making sense of what I've seen. All the love we've had between you and I along the track, looking forward, looking back. There are strange days full of change on the way, but we'll be fine, unlike some. I'll be leaning forward to see what's coming, looking forward, looking back. I've come a long way down the track, got a long way left to go, making songs from what I know. Hey, if I'm alone at night, I can see through all triviality of the day, and I'm okay. I just think of those who are dear to me, looking forward, looking back. I've come a long way down the track, got a long way left to go, making songs from what I know, making songs from what I know. Hey, looking forward, looking back.
Please be seated. Welcome to the Geraldton Crematorium for the funeral service to celebrate and pay tribute to Peter Reginald Sim. Today's service is also being live streamed for those unable to join us physically. My name is Nikki and I will be leading today's service. I would like to thank Cheryl and Eddie for giving me the privilege. We come together today to pay our final respects to Peter Reginald Sim, a loved father, grandfather, great-grandfather and friend who lived a fulfilling life. As we mourn Peter's passing, let us also celebrate his life and remember the many ways in which he touched our hearts. Although Peter is no longer with us in body, his legacy lives on through the lives he touched and the memories he left behind. Although we gather here with heavy hearts, we can also take solace in the knowledge that Peter is now at peace and reunited with loved ones who have gone before him. In times of grief, let us draw strength from each other and from the cherished memories that we hold dear. Let us honour Peter by sharing stories, offering words of comfort to one another, and celebrating his life with love and compassion. We know that this is a difficult time for everyone, but by coming together to remember and celebrate Peter, we can find comfort in each other's presence. Michael Farmer, would you like to come forward and share on behalf of Jeremy and Eddie?
This one's from Jeremy. My dad. Me and my dad, from a very young age, we were always together, doing something in the car or the tractors. From a young age, I always remember Dad letting me drive all the tractors on the farm and in the paddocks, while Dad had a bit of a sleep or too many beers. It was always something I really enjoyed. When I think of my dad from when I was young, I remember Uncle Dick. Those two were inseparable. They were always together. I remember Dad and I were always going to pick Dick up from the farms where he'd been shearing, and we'd drive him back to town. On the weekends, I remember this game they used to play on the way home. Whoever was driving, when a sign would come up, they'd throw a king brown over the roof of the car and try and hit the sign whilst doing 120 clicks. Most of the time it was me sitting on whoever's lap it was driving, steering the car. It's something I really enjoyed doing with Dad, and for the rest of my life growing up, I always loved driving. I respect the road just as much as I respect the ocean. And when I was young, Dad and I did spend quite a bit of time apart. When Dad had started his fishing career, he would always contact my sister and I. Me and my sis always loved it when Dad came home, which was only once a year. He used to save all his coins, and every year me and sister would go through the bottom of his suitcase and keep them. It was hard growing up not having Dad around much in these years, but I always had my sister telling me when he will come home and he will see us soon, which was always enough to get me through, especially when I was missing him. I feel like I grew up quite quickly from a young age. By the time I was 14, I had left school and was living with Mum, which ended up being a bit too tough for her, as I was being a little bit hard to handle. But when I look back now, I was very lucky to be a Sim in the Sim family, because all my aunts and uncles, they loved my dad, and they knew how he was not always here and away working. They always helped me when they could. At the age of 14, Uncle Dick gets the call from Mum. His dad's away, can you take this boy? And my uncle, only being young himself, and his girlfriend then, who was only just 18, who became my Auntie Kylie, both said yes and said to send him down to us. The next day I'm on the bus to Esperance, and I remember feeling just right. My Uncle Dick and Auntie Kylie pointed me in the right direction, and they helped me get straight into work, into the shearing sheds. Not even a year later, Dad rocks up without me knowing he was coming. I hadn't seen him much in the last 5 years, and I was so happy to see him. I remember it being like only yesterday since I saw him, and I remember he was very happy to see me. He was so happy that I was working and doing good with Auntie and Uncle. Dad's back now, but he had a passenger with him, and this is the first time I met Cheryl. Unknown to me at the time of meeting her, Shirley is the person that I believe gave my life back to Dad. Dad, being Dad, said, I'm only staying for a couple of days. I've got to head back and go get the boat ready for the next season. Dad says to me, I have something to tell you, so tonight let's go out for dinner. I remember thinking, well, I've got something to tell you, that there's no way you're leaving without me this time. So out for dinner we go. And I don't know which news was going to make the biggest shock, but Dad's news was a bigger shock, telling me he and Cheryl were to get married. I remember feeling very happy for Dad, and then I told him, well, you're going to have another passenger, me. Pretty much without a thought, Dad said, yep, no worries. I remember feeling happy that Dad's getting married and I'm going with him. At that moment, I didn't know where I was going with him, but it didn't matter as long as I was with me Dad. A couple of days later, me, Dad and Cheryl on the bus, I said to Dad, where are we going? And he said, a place called Geraldton. We're going to get the boat ready and I'm going to put you on it. Cheryl and I are going to meet you in a place called Darwin. Me being only 15 years old at this stage, I didn't even know where Geraldton or Darwin was. But I didn't ask questions, I just said no worries. I remember getting to Darwin and there was Dad standing on the wharf as I arrived about 10 days later. From then on, for a couple of years, me and my dad lived together right by each other's side. Dad taught me the life of the ocean and taught me all the skills I needed to become a fisherman. He was really good at running a boat and in a team environment. Dad was very respected from all his crew. Dad was a bloke everyone called their mate. I always knew this, but it's the first time in my life that I could really see Dad for the person he was. We just kept growing more and more closer every day. After some time, Dad knew I was right on the ocean, so then he finished up fishing and went back to Geraldton and started his life with Cheryl. My dad had a great life after fishing. Dad and Cheryl had my little brother Eddie and also had my sister Tracy living in Geraldton. I was doing what my dad had taught me and I was loving it. I thank my stepmother Cheryl for the person she is in our family and seeing her look after my dad. We love you, Cheryl. I love you, Dad. Jeremy. This one's from Eddie. Pete, my dad, but even more, my best mate. Thank you so much for the life you gave me and all the things you taught. For how to drive a car before I could barely touch the pedals. To giving me all the life skills that I know today. Also, why you should never put your fingers anywhere within reach of a shark's mouth. You might lose a finger or two. You found out the hard way. I know you didn't want to leave us because I know you loved everyone in this family just as much as you loved that bloody van. I'll miss your laugh and all the good times that we had together, but I know you'll be there with me all the way in the back of my mind, encouraging me along in life. See you next time, Pete. Love, your son, Ed. This one's from Tracy. Dad, you took me in, you made me your own. You loved me unconditionally. I was under your wing and always felt safe. I could tell you anything, you would always listen, never judge. You were there when I was chased by the cows or nearly drowning in the dam. You never let me down. Dad, you taught me to have strength and courage, to have a sense of humour and sharp wit. Never take yourself too seriously, have some fun. That's helped me navigate life's ups and downs. I'll always remember you, Dad. Carry you in my heart and always be proud to be your daughter. Rest in peace, Dad, my protector, my guardian, my hero. Tracy Lee.
Thank you. Micaiah, would you like to come forward and share?
I'll never forget the night I called you to tell you I was expecting my own little bundle of joy. The first thing you said to me is, "Are you happy?" My response was, "I wasn't sure." You then said, "You'll be okay. You have the best people around you for support." I was so scared to tell you, but from that day on, I got nothing but support and love from you, and I knew that she was going to be the luckiest girl in the world to be loved by you. You never judged the decisions I made in life, even if they weren't the best ones. You were always the first person I'd call if the pieces fell apart and I needed your help picking them all back up. So thankful for the many lectures and the best shoulder to cry on. You're such a massive part of who I am today, and I couldn't be more lucky to have a man like you watching over Ellie and I. You made it known to me what it was like to feel loved and a part of the most loving family we could ever wish for. Your courage and strength will continue to push me to overcome anything that life may throw. I'm grateful that your favourite little girl had the time with you to create a lifetime of memories that will be cherished forever. I'll continue to make sure Ellie always knows how strong, loving and little too cheeky you were. You'll be missed so much. You'll be missed so much. Rest easy now, beautiful Poppy. The sky is so lucky to have you. Love always, Sinead and Ailey. Poppy, you were such a kind-hearted man and always would make time in your day for the whole family. We're all very lucky to be a Sim and to have someone like you guide us all. I can't imagine what it's going to be like without you and all our cheeky laughs all the time and all the cheeky comments we would make. The relationship me and you had was like no other. The memories you left with me will never be forgotten. I will never forget the times you and I would silently click our fingers, find a shower to get us some cake, but we wouldn't do it loud enough or we would get in trouble. You would always believe in me for everything and all the decisions I'd make, and always be sure to give you a phone call after every achievement I had made, and you'll be so proud of me. Not long ago, you told me to keep doing what I'm doing and I'll succeed in life, or Uncle Ed would give me a kick in the bum. I promise I will succeed, not only to make you proud, but I also don't want a kick in the bum from Uncle Ed. I always love hanging off you and sitting next to you in the lounge room so we can make funny jokes about everyone and everything. I will never forget the funny comments you would make, or telling me to find some Asians to do some jobs around the house for a cup of rice a day. You always had a smile on your face and always would put a smile on my face every time I'd hear from you. I miss the phone calls every week from you and getting asked if I'm giving everyone in the house a hard time. I'm going to miss all the embarrassing random comments on our Facebook posts and all the thumbs up you would send me from every message. I'm forever thankful for being your youngest and funniest granddaughter. I know you'll be laughing and thinking about all our cheeky memories as I speak of them. As much as I'm going to miss you, you're not in pain anymore. Now rest in peace with Uncle Clive. Love you, Pop.
Thank you. Katie, would you like to come forward and share?
I'm reading on behalf of Sophia today. She couldn't be here. Pop wanted her to go on this trip, so they both knew it was coming up, and she wanted to make it to the end, and she did. She just couldn't come to the party, which she really wanted to, but Pop wanted nothing more than just to keep going. So she wrote a poem for him. Pop, I held your hand and spoke about my day, knowing soon you'll pass away. I wiped the tears off my cheek, just wishing you'll turn and speak. A body once so strong, now so weak. When I think of you, I think of fun. When I look at you, I see too young. Remembering the days we spent together, you taught me the things I now know and that I will hold on to forever. You lived your life to the fullest, but never to the full. Life can be kind, but also so cruel. You leave us behind while you climb to the heavens. You'll become a memory, be spoken about in the presence. You were the one that got away. Just know that we'll all be okay. You'll be with us in spirit during the night, during the day. We will miss you to the brim, and life for a moment will be quite grim. We'll never forget you, your light will never be dimmed. Though life will go on without you, and the years will grow apart, we'll take you wherever we go, you'll always be in our heart. Thank you, Peter, for loving us and forever bringing us cheer. I'll give you one for the road. I'll cherish that last beer. Forever grateful, and our love will never stop. Thank you for always being there for us. Thank you for being our Pop. I have something small to say as well. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for loving us, all of us, for being proud of us, never judging us for our mistakes. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for the memories we keep, and thank you for the lessons you gave. We couldn't have asked for a better Pop. I speak on behalf of your great-grandson Henry, who loved his great poppy. He loved picking around your front garden, and I'll miss the photos you send me when he's visiting with Mum while I'm at work. I read a quote that I found that was quite relatable. Death ends a life, not a relationship, but there was no need to be ashamed of tears, bore witness of a man that had the greatest of courage. They that love beyond the world cannot be separated by it. Death cannot kill what never dies. Which speaks the truth, as you may be gone, but your memories and love will never die. We will all carry that on forever. I also hope this grief stays with me, as it's only an expression of all the love we didn't get to say, although you knew. Grief is the price we pay for love, and we all love you very much, Pop, and we will miss you for a lifetime. Cheers, Pop.
Thank you all for sharing your memories with us. We will now hear the eulogy.
I'm Kathy, and I'm one of Peter's sisters. So Peter was the son of William Walter Reginald and Frances Emily Ivy Sim. He was brother to William, Robert, Jennifer, Kathleen, Rosalind and Clive. Father to Tracy, Jeremy and Edward. Grandfather to Katie, Sophie, Seth, Tyra, Sinead and Micaiah. Great-grandfather to Henry and Airlie. Uncle and great-uncle to many. Family meant everything to Peter, and he never held a grudge. He would just move on. I'm not saying he forgot, he just forgave. The photo gallery shows the carefree life he lived on the farm in Many Peaks. No TV or fancy toys. We always had bikes, which were hand-me-downs from somewhere. It was all nature play, which in today's world is the buzzword for child development. There was always some sort of pet on the scene, whether it be tadpoles, frogs, turtles, wild ducks that always died, pet calf to feed, and a dog or two. He was never fussed about school, loved the outdoors too much. After leaving school, he had numerous jobs in agriculture. In his 20s, life took a bit of a turn. As he would say, a pothole, and he headed north and out to sea, working in the fishing industry. This led him to travel the world. Even though not on a regular basis, he always kept in touch with his mum. Wasn't always as often as she would like. He would ring for PIN numbers, Medicare numbers, ATM numbers, and which bank account he should use, which of course she always had on hand. On one of his work breaks, he went on holidays with Mum to look up some relatives, Dad's relatives in Scotland. They had a wonderful holiday, but Mum came back on her own. We were all a bit puzzled, even Mum. This was the beginning of the next chapter of his life. He came back to Australia with his lovely Isle of Man girl, Shirley, who joined our family. They settled in Darwin, where he was based for work. Jeff and I, with our 3 kids in tow, and Mum headed to join him for their wedding. Then it was off for the honeymoon. We hired a car. Peter borrowed his mate's sort of trusty old Holden Torana with no aircon and headed for the road trip to Kakadu, Katherine and Litchfield. What a honeymoon. Most nights having to share a donga with a niece or nephew. Sometime later, Peter and Shirley moved to Geraldton and bought a house eventually a surprise package came into their lives in the name of young Edward, known to us all as Eddie. We loved our trips to Geraldton with our kids, always a feast of crayfish and prawns, and the highlight for the kids was getting up early to pull the cray pots. Not for me though. In The highlight for us was in 2006, we had a special trip overseas with Shirley and Eddie. That's Jeff and I did. We went to Scotland to visit Dad's relatives, then on to the Isle of Man to meet Shirley's family, and then to Denmark to meet Peter's fishing mate, Finn. When Peter was given his diagnosis, his words were, "I'm glad I did all that travelling and didn't save my money for a rainy day." His bucket list was complete, he said. Thank you, Shirley, for the care of Peter through thick and thin. We'll be always there for you. Rest in peace.
I'm Jeff. I've just lost a brother too. Many years ago, possibly 2 decades, we all went to the Freemasons Hotel for the odd drink or 3. I remember Clive, RIP, was there, along with Maitland, Kathy, Shirley, Eddie, and possibly some more. I remember we had a lovely time, and I bemoaned the fact that I thought I was an only child because I have 2 much older sisters who are a generation ahead of me. But Peter and Clive said, "Don't worry, you got us. We're your brothers." So, goodbye, brother.
Thank you. It's time now to take a moment to honour Peter's memory with a photo tribute. The photos that you will see are a visual reminder of the life that Peter lived and the impact he had on those around him. These images we see at his happiest moments, surrounded by people he loved. We see his smile, laughter and joy. We see milestones and memories created. I hope this photo tribute will serve as a comforting reminder of the life that Peter lived.
G'day, g'day, how you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, and how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right. Isn't it great to be an Aussie, taking a walk along the street, looking in shops or buying a paper, stopping and having a yarn with people that you meet down at the pub or at a party. Whenever you're stuck for what to say, if you want to be dinky-die, why don't you give it a try? Look 'em right in the eye and say good day. Good day, good day. How you going? What do you know? Well, strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day, and you'll be right. Now when Italians meet, they all go crazy. The blokes all like to hug each other too. The Yanks invented hi and see you later, while the Pommy will shake your hand and say how do you do. Now watch out for a Frenchman or he'll kiss you. The Spaniards go for Ola and Olay, but in the land of the cockatoo, cock hats and a didgeridoo. When you meet an Aussie 10 to 1, here's what he'll say. G'day, g'day. How you going? What do you know? Well, strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right. It's a greeting that you'll hear across Australia, from Geraldton to Govan Gundy Guy. It's as dinkum as the dingo and the dahlia, and you spell it with a G apostrophe a D-A-Y. Good day, good day. How you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day, and you'll be right. Good day, good day. And how you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. Good day, good day. And how you going? Just say good day, good day, good day. Just say good day, good day, good day, and she'll be right.
On a crowded beach, in a distant time, at the height of summer, see a boy of 5 at the water's edge, so nimble and free, jumping over the ripples, looking way out to sea. Now a man comes up from amongst the throng, takes a young boy's hand, and his hand is strong, and the child feels safe. Yeah, the child feels brave, and just carried in those arms, up and over the waves. Deeper water, deeper water, deeper water is calling him on. Let's move forward now, and the child's 17, with a girl in the backseat, tugging at his jeans. She knows what she wants, she guides with her hand, all the voice cries inside it. I'm a man, deeper water, deeper water, deeper water, it's calling him on. Meets a woman, unlike all the rest. Well, he doesn't know it yet, but he's out of his depth. All he thinks he can run, it's a matter of pride, but he keeps coming back like a cork on the tide. Deeper water, deeper water. Now the years hurry by, and the woman loves the man. One night in the dark, she grabs hold of his hand, says, "There, can you feel it kicking inside?" And the man gets a shiver right up and down his spine. Deeper water, deeper water, deeper water, deeper water, deeper water, it's calling him on.
Lots of good times. Sharing memories is an important part of a funeral service, and I understand that this may be a difficult time, but it is believed that sharing memories can be a powerful way to honour Peter's life. Whether you would like to share a story, a special moment, or a simple thought, I welcome you to come forward and share with us now. Yeah. You're invited to join the family following the service to the Wanthella Bowling Club to continue sharing your memories with them. Before we depart and begin our sharing, we now have to say a loving and fond farewell to the body Peter has used in this life's journey. This is an important time for each of you to say your farewells and allow the family to do so in quiet. So I ask that you hold your condolences till the end of the service, and once you have placed your rosemary on the coffin, please return to your seats for the conclusion of the service.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you'll no longer burn to be brothers in arms. Through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I've witnessed your suffering as the battle reached high, and though it hurt me so bad, in the fear and alarm, you did not desert me, my brothers in arms. There's so many different worlds, so many different suns, and we have just one world, but we live in different ones. Now the sun's gone to hell, the moon's riding.
Please stand for the committal. It is with sadness we say goodbye to you, Peter, but we thank you so much for every little gift you have contributed to this life and to the lives of others. We thank you for your strength of character and for being the face of reassurance in times of difficulty. We thank you for your understanding, unwavering support, and your dedication and devotion to your family. We thank you for your presence, your perseverance, your determination to be the best you could be. We thank you for your humour and laughter, and we thank you for the good times. But most of all, we thank you for your love, for your friendship, for the time and effort you put into our lives. We thank you, Peter, for everything that you were and all that you gave, and may you now rest in peace with certain knowledge that you were, are, and always will be loved and missed. Thank you for your attendance today.
Well, my name's John Lee Pettimore, same as my daddy and his daddy before. You hardly ever saw granddaddy down here. They only come to town about twice a year. You buy 100 pounds of yeast and some copper line. Everybody knew that it made moonshine. Now the revenue man wanted granddaddy bad, headed up a holler of everything he had. For my time, but I've been told you never come back from Copperhead Road. In a big black Dodge, bought it at an auction at the Mason's Lodge. Johnson County Sheriff painted on the side. Just shot a coat of primer, then looked inside. Well, him and my uncle tore that engine down. I still remember that rumbling sound. And then the sheriff came around in the middle of the night. Heard mama crying that something wasn't right. He's headed down to Knoxville with a weekly load. You can smell a whiskey burning down Copperhead Road. First round here and away. I've done 2 tours of duty in Vietnam. I came home with a brand new plane. I take the seat from Colombia to Mexico. I just planted up a holler down Copperhead Road. Chopper in the air, wake up screaming like I'm back over there. I learned a thing or two from Charlie, don't you know? You better stay away from Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. Copperhead Road. When I was a little bitty baby, my mama would rock me in the cradle in them old cotton field back home. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana, in them old cotton fields. Texarkana in them old cotton fields back home. When them cotton balls get rotten, you can't pick very much cotton in them old cotton fields back home. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana, in them old cotton fields back home. My mama would rock me in the cradle